So, I'm KJ. This is my very first YouTube video. I first of all want to say I'm a 27-year-old photographer based here in New York City. However, I'm originally from West Baltimore. Baltimore, we say Baltimore. It's not Baltimore, we say Baltimore. Avenue, to, do, cashew, Jew to YouTube. I want to speak about today is just the life of being a photographer and how many things you can actually get burnt out from. But before I do that, I'm shooting on the Sony a6700 with the Sigma 28-70 2.8 GM lens. I absolutely love this setup. This is bringing me some of the most highest quality videos that I've seen myself produce in such a long time. Give me 1 second. We're gonna get us some pizza. Do y'all like Domino's? I love Domino's. Anyway, so as a photographer, I have several different mediums of photography. Digital, film, drone. However, I do live in New York. There's literally no fuck around room for drones in New York City. I have no idea. I mean, I'm not even gonna say I have no idea why. I'm sure things that we all are 100% aware of that happened in the early 2000s are just not allowing you to do so. Woo! Thing that people do not tell you as a photographer is when you switch over to film photography, because film photography has literally been having a moment for literally the past few years. I've done digital photography for the better part of, I'm 27. I've been doing digital photography since I was 15. I remember the very first camera that we had was a Samsung point and shoot, and it was amazing. It was an amazing camera and it did the job. I remember that was my very first camera and it didn't even belong to me. It belonged to my father. Different avenues of photography. What I recently just got into is medium format photography. This is my baby. With this big boy, this is the Mamiya RB67. This camera has given me one of the most unique photography experiences in my life. I'm shooting on the Sakura 50mm that comes standard with most Mamiya cameras. I literally picked this up on eBay for about $400 or so after taxes, a little over 500. So I added a 10% Cine Bloom diffusion filter from Moment. This is a 77mm on a 50mm threaded lens. This camera shoots all the way up to a shutter speed of about 400 with an aperture ring that goes all the way up to 32, which is the highest that I've ever seen in my life. What you also get with this camera is an arm workout. This thing is heavy. That's one thing that I will not sugarcoat about this camera. This thing is freaking heavy. It's literally, this is a heavy as f. This RB stands for rotating back. You turn the back from landscape to portrait just with a simple turn. I don't shoot a single part of this camera without the magnifier. This isn't an eye level camera, this is a waist level camera. I'm gonna post a few photos just for you guys to go ahead and look at them. So the first one being this photo specifically. I absolutely love this photo. This photo came out as clear as day. But I'm gonna say, go ahead and hit the cigarette for me. He hit the cigarette, and this photo was beautifully composed, and he was very patient with me as we were composing this photo. Now, some things that you'll also encounter with this specific camera is the focal lengths translate differently. So, in all actuality, is the equivalent of something that goes down to almost a 20mm. The focal length was extremely wide for just a 50mm. Now, as a street photographer, you can easily sometimes tell what kind of focal length you're working on. The perception is just completely different on this type of camera. There are so many mistakes that you can make within this type of photography and this medium of photography that you will simply just not see right now at the moment. The next photo being from a guy that I met in Soho. His name was Chip the Mad Hatter. The thing that I'm learning about this kind of specific camera is the fact that you kind of take your attention off of what you're used to shooting, if that makes sense. As a street photographer, people are parts of the equation, but it's not in the most way of saying portraiture. Portraiture it can be a form of street photography, but primarily it isn't. Street photography can be anything from symmetry to light. However, typically people engaging in some type of activity while still being in the street which will be something that's very much more tangible for you to actually take photos of. There are things that just take a little bit more time to appreciate while you're shooting with the RB67. While shooting with the Mamiya, you will not be as run and gun as you typically will be with a digital camera. With a digital camera, you can automatically set your settings, and typically it only changes based on light conditions. You just click photo. With this, however, this just takes entirely too much to compose. That does not take away from the experience as a photographer. In this photo that we're looking at with Chip the Mad Hatter, this is the perception that you will get of feeling as though you secured your photo, but always still making a mistake. The mistake that I made with this was just simply not being stable enough. This takes a little bit to compose. That's the biggest thing that you have to understand about this camera. Street photography is just going to be very different. Street photography is just extremely run and gun, extremely now, before it goes away. Before they walk away, they're walking too fast. I'm not walking fast enough. They got away. The cab is finished moving. The car is already gone. The bike messenger is out the frame. It's so many different things as a street photographer. This slows you all the way down. Okay, the next photo. I had a little bit more time to actually compose these photos. Classic Car Club allows you from 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon to just simply take photos of the car. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy any drinks. It's not like everywhere else in the city where they literally make you buy everything. They make you buy water to take a piss. They make you buy water to take a so many different things in the city that they just have to have you do in order for you to just do anything as a basic human being. Like take a piss. I literally cannot tell you how many times I'm going somewhere and I am crowning because somebody won't let me use their bathroom. It's New York City. Something that I was just not savvy to moving to New York was just the fact that people do not let you use their restroom here. Anyway, I was actually okay with this photo. This photo was actually not bad at all. However, me being the kind of person that I am, I'm looking at it and I'm actually trying to find something to be wrong with it. I'm telling myself, this isn't in focus. This isn't in focus. This isn't in focus. The tiniest bit of motion blur or the tiniest movement with this camera will give you a motion blur effect that you do not like. It would just throw all of the entire photo off for you. So that's just some things that you just have to be honest with yourself that's going to happen with this camera. So that's all I had on this camera today. I just wanted to come here and give my experiences with the Mamiya. Tell you motherfuckers what it is with this camera. No, I can't say that. But pretty much that's all I had today. Very cold here in New York, so I'm actually not shooting so much film photography these days. I'm shooting a lot more digital because I need that chance to actually move and keep my body warm, things like that. So next time, I'm KJ, NYC. See you later.